are probably going to start to come on in here, but we got to keep this party rolling. I know there's very few of you, but let's just see if you're awake. Pulse check. How you guys feeling?
Ooh.
Not too bad. She's looking at me back over there. She's like, "Don't you call on me this time." I did it to her last year. This year I won't. I promise. Alrighty. So, how many of you have heard of the Amazon Influencer Program? How many are participating in the Amazon Influencer Program? Fantastic. So this next panel that's coming up here, thankfully I get to take a break away from MC duties because we're going to have somebody in charge of this panel moderating it. So without any further ado, let me just make individual introductions. Let's start it out with my boy Eddie Garrison. He's going to come on up here from Florida, baby. Thank you, man. And next up is going to be Geraldine Wilkins. I almost messed it up. Almost. And then, I'm sorry. I'm just like the gushing husband right now. My beautiful wife, Kelly Roberts. And then last but not least, our awesome moderator, Jim Fuse. Please put your hands together. Give some noise for Jim.
All right, thank you. It's great to be here. What a great event, right? I can't. Let's give Dan a round of applause for what he's put together. I think it's been awesome. And so, wanted to start out with, before we get into what each of us does, what is the Amazon Influencer Program, right? Some people are probably wondering, how many of you are Amazon associates, where you get those links that you can share? Well, I like to sometimes equate it to, it's the associate program on steroids. Because if you get approved, and how do you get approved? You go in and you apply, Amazon Influencer, and you pick one of 4 platforms, which right now it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Business, or YouTube. And if they approve you with YouTube, you find out right away. And the other 3 might take up to 5 business days, I think, for those. Now, when I got on it, they used to actually use Twitter. But once you're approved, you can download this app on your iOS only, called the Amazon Creator app, and it allows you to live stream on Amazon.com. You don't have to be a live streamer or have lots of live stream video on that profile you pick to get approved. That's one of those fallacies that sometimes people think, oh, well, how am I going to get on Amazon? I've never live streamed. Because trust me, and they can also attest to this, there are people that will then say, hey, how do I go live, right? They've never done a live stream, but you don't have to live stream. And what we're going to talk about, you get a storefront, right, on Amazon, and it's tied to your account, and you can name it whatever you want. Like my company is Fusion Marketing, but my brand on Amazon is Dealcasters, and I have a co-host and friend, Chris Stone. We started our brand on Amazon, right? Because we weren't talking about Fusion Marketing, and so we turned it into something that revolves around tech. But we've also started to do other things when it comes to shoppable videos, which we'll get into with some of the folks here, that you can do videos about anything, just about anything, right? We were talking about a couple things earlier, that is sold on Amazon, and if they approve it, your video is going to end up on the product page. So literally, people watch our videos every day, 24/7, 365, and every morning when I look at my earnings report on Amazon, I've made money. So, you talk about passive income, the influencer program, it definitely gives you that opportunity. You're going to get approached by companies and brands based on the content they're starting to see you put out there. So that, I think, did I miss anything, guys, as far as the overview? So that's kind of how the program works. Now, what we have here with this panel is we have 4 different brands doing things slightly differently, so you can kind of get an idea. And so I don't want to be the one talking all the time, so I'm going to start with Geraldine. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what you did getting onto Amazon? And here's something to think about, because I know we did talk, both Geraldine and Carrie or Kelly, they have over, Kelly was actually monetized on YouTube, right? And Geraldine didn't quite get to the view hours, but she's got the subscribers. And the problem was that, if you don't hit the view hours, you're not gonna monetize. So she's monetized on Amazon almost instantly. And I think for all of us, it's like, I make enough money on Amazon, I'm not gonna sit there and worry about, oh, I gotta build my YouTube channel up. Because it is definitely something where you can be making 4 and 5 figures a month. I can tell you that for a fact. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your Amazon journey?
This on? Yes. Okay.
Sound great.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to share with you that I use Amazon as a business tool. That's my primary purpose. I started as a blogger, quilting blogger. That's my industry. I'm a national educator, a coach, and teacher. I teach at quilt shows. And when I create content for my students, in the very beginning, I was using those affiliate links like everyone else on my blog and with my students. But then I learned about the influencer program. So I've been in the influencer program for several years. And that's when I started to optimize the use of the shop that they provide for you. And in that, you get an opportunity to upload photos, create idea lists, and videos. With the idea list, I use that as my supply list for my courses, whether in person or online. That was a way for me to further monetize my, my content. Then once the influencer program opened Amazon Live, which I was kind of late into the game on that. I didn't know it existed until last summer. And I had only begun to live stream February of 2021. For many years, I refused to be on that side of the camera. I'm an experienced 20+ year professional photographer, and I was always used to being on the other side and was very uncomfortable with being in front of the camera. But when the pandemic hit, I said I had to change. And so when I heard about Amazon Live, and I said, how can I now further my use of Amazon as a business tool? And my goal was, I started in October of last year, live streaming on Amazon, and the goal was threefold. 1, increase my skills as a live streamer, the production side. 2, learn and improve my skills as a live host. And then thirdly, to create the ability to create a live show that I can then use as a tool to work and collaborate with a brand. And so my goal was to eventually have a show with a brand that had a gap in their marketing, and the brand had to be connected with my niche. And I'm glad to say I reached that goal. I signed a contract with the brand last month.
All right.
So yeah, so now we'll go to Kelly. Kelly, tell us about, how you got started, and then how you, because you're not doing live streaming, right?
Oh, no.
And
Oh,
she has no desire to. We've talked about this, but tell us where you see it being helpful for your business.
I keep things so simple. I just film products. My business on YouTube is just a hodgepodge of stuff, so I don't direct anyone with my shop link. I didn't even know what it was until yesterday when someone asked me. I just film anything around my house that's on Amazon. You don't have to buy it on Amazon to make a video about it. I've been to my sister's house to use her products, and I just film on my iPhone 11. Sometimes I use a lavalier, sometimes I don't, and I upload them. Many different niches is what I was gonna say. And I have a separate YouTube channel with these review videos. I used to also upload to that channel, but not as profitable as influencer video. It's, I just say, a great side hustle. I would say, I might contradict what Jim says, don't forget about your main hustle, because you don't know how long this will be around. Amazon's always changing stuff.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I would agree with you though, Kelly, because we also, like, I do remote video production, and so hearing what some of the YouTubers have been saying is, you know what, like Roberto said, maybe I should do some videos on my YouTube channel telling people how to do these things. and I might get more business in that. But I agree with you. You never know, and like all those people that were gonna do Facebook shopping, they're selling, I guess Facebook has decided they're not gonna do that anymore. So, you know, those are the things that are out of your control. Eddie, tell us about what you've been doing.
Yeah, so a lot of ways I'm similar, but totally opposite of that. Just like everybody else out there, that's part of the Amazon Associate Program. I had a YouTube channel and I was putting the links to like, this is the gear that I shoot my stuff with. And you know, it was making, you know, a whopping $60 a month. I'm sorry, that's nothing. That won't even cover my bar tab. So when the Amazon Influencer Program came out, when I did it, you were able to use Twitter, and that's where I have a pretty large following, and I had a large Facebook page. And I submitted, at the time you had to submit 10 videos. And now I was doing gear review videos anyway on my YouTube page, so what I did was I kind of went in there, re-edited it, yes. And I took all like the YouTube CTAs out, I took my bump out, I took anything that was kind of flashy YouTube-ish out, and I got approved. And it started to generate revenue, so I was like, okay, cool, and a lot more than $60 a month. Now, I own a digital media company in Orlando, so this is just kind of like my side hustle money, however you want to say that. But it became, okay, I was making a couple $100s a month, and then all of a sudden I was making a couple $1,000s a month, and the next thing you know, I'm making $5,000 and $6,000 a month for doing very little work. And if anybody knows me, that is really what I'm all about, doing as little as possible and making as much as possible. Because I spend more than I make. So, started to do that, and I started to film all these things, you know, like clip-on lenses for iPhones and clip-on microphones, and all of a sudden I was starting to sell like 100 of them a month, and then I started selling 600 a month, and I started selling 2,000 of them a month. And I was like, wow, this is actually a good revenue stream. And all of a sudden, brands started to reach out to me, and not the ones that start their emails with hi dear, but they were actually reaching out to Eddie Garrison. And they were like, listen, we want to shoot videos with you. I was like, oh, great. Well, I had no idea of what to charge. So I reached out to Owen Himstath, Owen Video. He's like, you need to put packages together. So I started putting packages together. And what I do is I look at what is my top 5 selling products every month. And I see what type of products those are. And then I reach out to brands that make similar products. And I say, I would like to work with you. Here's my proof of concept. I sold 600 of these phone cases and I generated $30,000 of revenue for this company. Well, let's work together. And they were like, okay, great, how much? So I came up with these pricing packages, and now I'm probably doing 3 and 4 brand deals a month.
Right.
And that's what I like about it.
Yeah, and so with Dealcasters, Chris and I started this in July of 2020. And it was one of those things like Ross Brand, who I know some of you know, had put a video, on YouTube's like, hey, you can become an influencer. And literally, I, followed his directions and I submitted my Twitter account, and in 5 minutes I was approved. You're now an Amazon influencer. I called Chris and was like, hey, we're Amazon influencers. Like, what? So we came up with the whole concept of Dealcasters, and we started live streaming. And what we have done is, if it's just Chris and I, we focus on tech. We teach people how to live stream, how to podcast, differences in microphones and cameras and things like that. And the nice thing is, because you're live, people can ask questions. Now, where the live streaming can be crazy is, as an example, the very first Prime Day, it was Black Friday of 2020. We said, okay, we're gonna go live several times. The very first show, which was at like 8 o'clock in the morning, the day after Thanksgiving, we had 10,000 people watching us, right? I never have had 10,000 people watch me on, any other platform, because I'm not talking about Johnny Depp. But, I think that maybe we should start talking about Johnny Depp and get more viewers. But it was amazing. And then seeing the revenue from people clicking on your stuff. And so, but at the time, we were just doing live video. And now what we were also doing was, we were doing interviews of marketers, interviews of authors. And that's another unique thing. When you ask someone who's releasing a book on Amazon, hey, how would you like to talk about your book on Amazon in front of a live audience? We have yet to have any author say no, right? We interviewed David Meerman Scott about his newest book. We interviewed Stu Heineke about his book, my business coach, Kelly Roach. I mean, we've had some big name people come on our show, and we think it's because it's on Amazon. The other thing we then do with that, and there's some other creators, Jeff C. has one as well, we turn our interviews into a podcast. And if you didn't know, Amazon has this thing called Amazon Music, which also has podcasts. So not only is our podcast on Amazon, when we're doing a show, we can put our podcast in the carousel and get subscribers off of that. We repurpose everything. We use a program called Lately, where we create video clips. We put it out on all the socials, because what Amazon wants you to do is they want you to drive traffic back to Amazon. What we've started to see in our analytics is about 20% of our stuff is now coming from off-site. So it's showing that our social media, if you want to call it campaign, is working. We went and created social platforms for deal cashers. Like Deal Casher didn't have anything. It was Chris's social media, my social media, so we created Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, we even have a LinkedIn company page. Oh, and one small thing that Judy, and she told me I could say this, to get a newsletter on your LinkedIn company page, you need to get 200 followers. So that's another opportunity, right? You create a company page, you could be doing here's a newsletter about microphones to use for, in-person interviews, and then have your links, even your videos, and get people back to Amazon. That's what they want the influencers to do. They give us a little bit more flexibility than associates. And I think that's one of the things. They do have these different levels with the live streamers. You've got you start out as a rising star. Once you've streamed for 90 minutes and submitted, you can become an insider. And where that's powerful, and that's where things like Prime Day and Black Friday, holiday shopping helps, is when you highlight a product in your carousel while you're live, that video is playing on the product page. And so these people are, they're just shopping, right? They're looking for, quilting stuff, and all of a sudden they see Geraldine at the bottom here, and video related to this product. So they click on it, and now you have just captured them with what they call the cookie, and if they make any purchases off of clicking through your video, you now get a commission of 1 to 4%. And so that's why people are live streaming. But I would say that the people doing shoppable videos are doing amazing things. And Geraldine, I want you to talk a little bit about, because you have more than one show type, because Amazon doesn't tell us what we have to do. We all make our own choices.
Yes, I love the beauty of that you have a lot of autonomy with Amazon on what type of show you want to create. And when you combine that with streaming software like Ecamm, you can create profiles, show profiles. So I have several show profiles. I have tech for teachers, tech for live streamers. I have my home and crafting tools. So I have augmented some of my quilting shows to go along with some of the things that are important to Amazon, and their home products are important. And there's some crossover with crafting with home products. So I have created profiles in my Ecamm and B-roll. B-roll is so critical to be able to get through, at least for me, the amount of products that you're able to put in the carousel, and that's up to 40. I don't always include 40, but the reason for B-roll, because I look at Amazon as a shopping mall. You're a shop, people are coming through, and they are going for one specific item. Maybe they want to pick up some shoes, or they want to pick up some housewares, but they pass your live stream or your shop on the way there. And then they stop because there's a live demo. Now, because there's this on-flow of traffic, if you have already looked at product number 3 in your carousel and you did a live demo, you would have to stop in the middle of your stream to satisfy someone else who's just coming by. But that demo can take 10 or 15 minutes. But if it's in a B-roll that has been accelerated 2 times or 3 times the speed, you are able to just say, hey, wait a minute, when I finish this, I'm gonna go back to that product that you specifically want to get more info on, because you have B-roll footage to show that. And so I just record that without sound, and then I just do a P&P over the B-roll, and I describe what I'm doing, so that they know what that product is for and how they can best use it to suit their needs.
Yeah, that's great advice. Carrie, what have you, or Kelly, I keep saying Carrie.
Sorry.
Kelly, what do you see as far as ways to kind of advance what you're doing with the shoppable videos? Do you think there's anything in particular that you like, or you like the fact that you have that? You talked about the flexibility, right? Do you think that that's where people get like the mind junk of like, oh, well, I can't do a video, or I gotta buy stuff, or I gotta, like you brought up a great point earlier, right? It doesn't have to be bought on Amazon, it just has to be sold on Amazon.
I just like to keep things simple. I mean, so I don't like confuse myself. These shoppable videos, you have to, if any of y'all are on YouTube, you have to dumb it down and just show the product. You can show your face. About 90% of my videos are just my hands. Sometimes I do voiceovers depending on when I film the product, but when you said advanced, I don't keep it advanced. I just, as simple as possible. I have about 500 videos, so just repetition over repetition. I've been doing it about a year. Does that even answer your question?
No, it definitely does, but you know, but that's a great example, right? Kelly's keeping it simple, right? You don't have to go crazy, right? You don't have to do, now, we do sometimes some higher end stuff, and you know, some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. The challenge is, I think, for all of us, is like Amazon doesn't really tell you, other than the fact that you're making money, whether it's good or bad. The other thing that happens too, and this is where you gotta remember, there's millions of products on Amazon, right? Literally. If we're all doing a product video of the MacBook Pro that Doc is holding, they only show 6 videos on the page. So now what they do is they start rotating videos, right? So all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm making money, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm not making money on that product. So you have to look for other products. And so I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind, that some of your all's success has been because you're finding those products where there's not a video.
If any of you guys are interested in the shoppable video, I would just recommend, if you don't think you have any products, just look through your entire house, get creative. I made a video on my MacBook charger. So there's products out there. Just read the terms of service. It doesn't say, like I say, you don't have to buy on Amazon. I bought a vacuum at Target, and it's made me almost $100 now. So yeah, just get creative with your product selection. And as far as flexibility, I just want to mention the reason I do shoppable as opposed to live. I used to live stream on YouTube, and I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I did not like a schedule of saying I had to be here at the exact same time every single week. What if I wanted to do something else? So at least with shoppable, I don't have to commit to any time, unlike a live stream.
Eddie, what about you? What do you see?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I like about the shoppable videos is once I shoot them, they're there forever, right? They're gonna live on in perpetuity. But I also like to find other avenues and other platforms to use to get people to the platform of Amazon, because obviously, as you know, even if you're in the associates program, if you put your affiliate link out and they get to Amazon and they don't buy the camera you're talking about, but somebody is screaming at them that their dogs are almost out of food and they go buy a 50-pound bag of dog food, you get credit for that sale. Now, one thing that I really do like to do is, to what Jim was saying a little bit earlier, is I like to send my email list twice a month a list of like, okay, these are the top 5 best wireless microphones for your iPhone. And it's just a little blurb, and then it's got my 5 thumbnails for my videos on my Amazon shoppable videos. And I see a really, really high click rate on that. And then and when 48 hours is up, I look to see what my open rate was, and then I resend that to my non-openers. Now, when I got to the level of getting brand deals, if I didn't particularly like the product, not like the product, but I'm not gonna use it all the time, what I'll do is I'll go into my Facebook group and I'll do a live stream, and then part of the live stream is I'm going to give away this wireless microphone. Now, when I give it away, I send them to a landing page that they have to give me their name and email address to. So it builds my email list to where I'm able to send my shoppable videos to even more people. It's like a triple win. It's a win for them because they're winning a free mic. It's a win for me because I'm getting another email list and perhaps more traffic to Amazon, and then I keep Jeff Bezos in business like that.
Yeah, Geraldine, what have you been doing as far as repurposing? Because I know we talked about that.
I love to repurpose. I'm a multitasker on many levels, and that just comes naturally with repurposing. And so one of the things that I mentioned earlier was B-roll. A lot of my B-roll that I run live is actually my shoppable videos. If my shoppable videos are not under the tech or the quilting, I still run those shoppable videos, but then he mentioned that there are related product videos, right? So if we take something from our home, say a clothing hanger, a garment bag, and we use that as a shoppable video, you can still earn affiliate commission based on something related, because they'll take that video and put it on a related product that doesn't have a video. So even if the commission for that particular item is like 20 cents, for that item, they might buy something that's more expensive and you still get the credit. And so I will also use, in terms of repurposing, one of my biggest following is on Pinterest. I get over 200,000 views a month on Pinterest, about 5,000 followers, and I repurpose by way of YouTube. So sometimes I will multi-stream to Amazon and to YouTube. So I'll have links there, and then I'll create an image for Pinterest to bring people to YouTube for multiple purposes: subscribers, my courses, affiliate links, bringing them back to Amazon, because Amazon allows us to have banners, scrolling tickers with our social media. So there's constant overlap or repurposing from one platform to the next, but ultimately always coming back to my website.
Yeah, and what we have started, what we did a long time ago with Dealcasters is we bought the domain name dealcasters.live and dealcasters.shop, and we use redirects. So even when we have specific interview episodes, like, and I think we've done it for Doc, I can't remember what we call it, but we could say docrock.dealcasters.live. It'll take you to that episode, whether we want it to be the podcast, whether we want it to be the actual live stream, because what happens is Amazon, the actual URL for our shows is really ugly. And I always like, and my joke is like, you lost me at the slash, right? So we keep it simple. Like even with dealcasters.shop, I could do I could say shure.dealcasters.shop and take someone to that product video for a Shure microphone. So that's one thing that we've been doing, and even, you get a lot of options, because it only costs a few bucks to buy the domain name. And what it's done for us with SEO, because there is no Dealcasters website per se. If you were to go on Google right now and type in Dealcasters, I think we own the first 5 pages. And that's all from using redirects, and you'll see all our socials and everything else. So that's, I think, has really helped us as far as awareness goes. And so we're growing our YouTube, but we still feel like because here's the thing too, we did mention this earlier, there are, we think, 3,000 influencers. That's what we've heard. And there's, I don't know, I've heard anywhere from 58 million to 80 million YouTubers. I think I like my chances a little bit better right now on Amazon. You think we should open up the floor to questions here?
If you want.
I just wanted to jump on something that Kelly said earlier about keeping it simple. I shoot almost 90% of my videos with this. Rarely on my Amazon shoppable videos do you see my face, which is really odd for me because I'm a huge narcissist and I like to see my face. But what it is literally, like Kelly said, basically all you'll see is my hands and the product that I'm showing. And I literally just put it on a tripod, and I do a top down on my coffee table as I'm eating lunch. And I shoot it, and it takes me anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to complete a video that's going to make me thousands and thousands of dollars. And I have found that, I don't know if everyone else has seen this correlation, there's no rhyme or reason really to what videos people are going to like, but in my specific instance, the videos that perform best for me, and the only metric that I care about is sales. I don't care if it's got 1,000 views or 100,000 views, I want $100,000, not the views. The ones that I see work best are literally just taking the product out of the box, showing it's how you use it, and that's it. Most of my shoppable videos on Amazon range from about 30 to 90 seconds, that's all.
You actually bring up a really good point. Something that I did is I attended Amazon Accelerate last week virtually. It was in Seattle, Amazon was running it, and they had the people from the Amazon Live team do a couple presentations. And this is where the shoppable videos are so powerful. Products with videos get 3 times less returns than products without. And so now they're, telling these sellers, hey, we really encourage you to do videos. Some of them, right, they don't know how. So now you're looking at some people that they may reach out to and say, hey, can you do some videos for us, right? They may want you to do a live stream on their channel. So there's a lot of opportunities for people getting into this space. If you're already talking about gear, right? I know we've got, camera experts. We've got Doc Rock, who he's gonna do it one of these days. And he knows I'm always busting him off because he was on the program before I was, but he's busy. We get it. No pressure.
It's not my fault.
But the uniqueness of it, like even with your coffee, right? If all that coffee is sold on Amazon, you could easily be doing videos about coffee makers. You could be interviewing, live streaming with the company, talking about their coffee and what makes it what it is. That's the beauty of this platform. I mean, there's people teaching, she's teaching quilting, right? I know another person I help, she's doing art classes. Bradley is teaching people how to do graphics. I mean, did you know Photoshop is, I think, sold on Amazon? There's quite a few software programs that are sold on Amazon. And so I think it's really left up to your imagination. I really do think.
Just wanted to share one other thing, I think that goes along with that. When I was in the process of courting this brand that I met in February, I decided to create a 3-part series that would start on Amazon and then multi-stream to Amazon and YouTube to serve my audience. Everything I do is to serve my audience, but at the same time, I multitask, and so I'm going to create a series on a particular project that my audience is interested in that's focused on the brand tools, the brand that I wanted to work with. So once I created that series that went 3 weeks in a row, it then became a course. All the tools and supplies to make this project, all the tools were with the brand. I was able to show the brand what can be done on Amazon. And then when it came to Prime Day, I revisited that 3-part series and did a condensed version, saying that it was available as a 3-part series. And then I had a problem. I was using another streaming software that was allowing me to multi-stream, and they stopped allowing me to go live on Amazon. And I didn't know. So in the middle of starting a multi-stream, it dropped. I wasn't able to do it on both, but I saved it, and then I used that Amazon Live the following day as a premiere. So I used the Amazon Live as a premiere, and then I was live with my audience talking about that particular thing. So then that allowed me to give that same brand, look, we can go live only on Amazon if that's what you want, but you can also repurpose this content when you want and be live in a premiere. And then I showed all the engagement, screenshot and all the engagement between me and the audience. So there's so many different ways that you can repurpose the content and be purposeful about how you use Amazon Live or shoppable videos for your business. When I do shoppable videos, I do a little bit more than perhaps these two, but I'm also experimenting. And so I experiment with submitting shoppable videos that are clips from my lives, or creating a lower third banner that says, let's take a look with Living Water Quilter. So my shoppable videos on Amazon for quilting specific products show my business name, which means people are gonna look, who is this person, right?
Yeah, that's actually really smart. As long as they don't take it down, you're good.
Yeah.
You want that?
I would say I do a lot, sorry,
That's okay.
bust yours out. I do a lot of research before I even film the product. I forget who was talking about brands reaching out to you. To be brutally honest, 90% might be just all crap. So before you accept anything, learn what sales ranking is for Amazon, learn to see if they have any reviews. Me personally, I don't accept many brands at all anymore unless I like the product. I don't deal with money. I'm just like, do I like the product? Am I gonna use it? Great, I'll do a review for free. Otherwise, I just delete the email. Yeah, just some tips before accepting any, free product.
Yeah, and just to go off what she was saying, I got my Amazon personal profile actually got banned from doing reviews because in the beginning I thought, oh, all these people are sending me products and I'm getting it for free and I can review them. Amazon is keen to that, and they said, can't do that anymore, you're no longer allowed to leave reviews. So they can, I had like 800 reviews on my personal page, and that was like a leveraging point for some brands, and now all those are gone. But I obviously I can still do shoppable videos, so to Kelly's point, please be careful when people are reaching out to you, especially the ones, I'm gonna say it again, when they say, hi dear, just delete it.
Because it can be a major time suck too. We're all so busy, so it can, be discouraging too. If you get a free product, you're like, yes, and it doesn't sell at all, but it has a million in the Amazon store. No.
Be careful.
All right, let's go with questions in the audience.
Have a come to Dale moment.
Yes. Come to Dan.
Go to him. Don't make him go to
This
you.
might be a little redundant, but for those of us who, I know it might be like the work hard answer, but for those of us who've tried to get into the influencer program and you got that unfortunately your account doesn't, qualify message, what are your recommendations? Is it just more consistent targeted videos in that space? Or is it just keep trying, putting out content? Because the reason I ask is because we do a podcast, right? And it's like, okay, I could just keep repurposing my podcast links, but for money, it feels like this is quicker, right? But and that's what I want to do. But my activity really is just my banter on my podcast. So I'm just like, okay, what are your recommendations as the professionals?
So when you say you got rejected, what platform did you use? And if you don't mind me asking, like how many followers do you have?
I use all of them. So I use the ones the 4 available, right? So for my YouTube, I'm just under 200. Facebook, I probably have the most followers, and Instagram, a couple hundred. But something in my mind is like, okay, are they looking at my post to like ratio, or what's the formula so I could attack that privately?
What I usually recommend to people, and listening to your numbers, like Instagram or TikTok may be the easiest one for you to get more followers on.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the followers. It goes back to, they're not looking at your content from the perspective of like, oh, well, it does a podcast. Like I said, there are people in the program that have gotten approved based on their follower numbers on Instagram, whatever, never have gone live, have never done a video, but they're active, right? They're engaging. So my recommendation would be grow whichever platform you feel like fits you, right? Like it's like if you don't like TikTok, don't sit there and go do a bunch of TikToks just hoping that it's going to grow. But focus on one platform and get that up. I would say from what I've seen, but they don't tell us the numbers, it's probably 2,000 to 3,000 on Instagram. I've seen people get approved on. YouTube, I think it's usually been like, they both had over 2,000, I think, right?
Yeah, I just had a friend who was approved on YouTube. She has between 2,000 and 3,000, and let's just say her view count is really bad.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I got approved with 500 subscribers on YouTube.
All right, my question would be, what is the biggest difference on the shoppable videos when you upload them between a computer or your phone? Because I've been dabbling with both, and what I've noticed is that I've gotten more response of saying that people like your video when it comes to what I've uploaded through my mobile device, yet it has showed no numbers as far as sales being done. And then the shoppable videos that I've uploaded through the website don't give me any email responses of anyone, responding to it, yet those have led to more sales than the ones on my phone.
I have never uploaded a shoppable video for my phone, so I really don't know any sales differences. I've always done the laptop because you can drag and drop so many more videos, and I just think it's faster.
I've never used the mobile device either. I always wonder this because like in the social media world, people are like, well, if I upload content through like Agora Pulse, I see less follow or I see less reach or anything if I don't upload it natively on Facebook. I've never seen any direct correlation or data to prove or disprove either way, so I'm not exactly certain. Like I said, I can't speak for it because I've never done it.
Then we're in the same boat.
Yeah, we do everything through desktop. We don't use the phone to upload. So I think sometimes, right? I mean, the phones are very powerful, but I think people like, oh, I want to do everything on my phone. But I think we've actually, when we've downloaded reports on sales, like the Excel, it'll tell you the source of your purchase. And the last time we looked, it's like 2/3 of our stuff is being bought through desktop. So as much as everybody thinks that everybody's buying everything off the phone, it's not necessarily the case yet. Not to say that that won't change, but I think we find it's easier to do things on the computer. I'm old, I can't see, so why would I use a small screen?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why you buy a Mac Studio and use a phone?
What?
Why you buy a Mac Studio and then use the phone?
Well, I'm trying to maximize it, so don't be redundant.
Maximize it. Okay, so I was just, while you were talking, I was looking on my app and looked at a couple of products that I was familiar with. And my question really is a kind of multi-part. So is there an ideal time? Because the ones I saw were either 5 seconds or 38 seconds. Do you need to narrate because they didn't and they were a little bit wonky? And should it be vertical or horizontal?
I think always horizontal. I just film in 1080 by or 1920 by 1080. My thing is, and I was going to speak to this a little bit earlier, and I know Geraldine is like, she does a lot more intricate editing and other things in their videos, and that's great. I've never seen it, I know I look at the top 5 of mine every month, the top sellers, and 3 out of 5 of them are like my quick top down, all you see is my hands, and I don't even talk. I'm never on camera. It's just how the product looks and how the product performs, and then it's gone. Like I said, most of my videos are between 30 and 90 seconds.
So you let the audience figure out what they want.
Correct, yeah, and then I just put royalty-free music on my videos.
I do my videos probably anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute and a half. The most important thing is to get credit for the purchase. The customer needs to watch at least 30 seconds. So try to make the first 30 seconds or more as interesting as you possibly can. And as far as horizontal versus vertical, I've done both. The only times I do vertical is when I do clothing, because I feel like it can focus on me more. Looking back, I've done a guitar video too. I probably should have done vertical for that, but I didn't learn how to edit vertical videos till recently, so.
I focus mainly on horizontal, and I do most of my videos with my hands only.
Right.
And I do it without audio, and then I do voiceover.
Nice.
Primarily because I want to keep the time down, and if I need to shoot a longer video and then accelerate it to get the content I want, it allows me to do the voiceover in a shorter period of time without having a longer video.
We mainly do horizontal as well, but we do vertical for like other channels, and we'll use links. But and I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. Our perspective is, and especially when they changed the way the shop page looked, we use thumbnails. We also target those thumbnails to the questions that people are asking at the bottom of the page. So as an example, did a video about a Bissell, portable vac that and one of the questions was like, cannot you use this in a car? So I did a video where I'm cleaning my Jeep out with it, and that's what the thumbnail says, like, clean your car with this, right? Because it catches people's attention. And there's this other debate over, like, well, if it looks more raw, I'm gonna try, it's like, with the amount of money we're making, I don't care, right? I'm not trying to fool anybody. It says on there that we earn commission, right? So trying to make it like, oh, well, if I make it look like we just came out of the alley and found this thing in the dumpster, they're gonna buy it. I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer, but I look at it from this perspective, and this is, I think, where we're getting brands wanting to work with us. It's quality content is gonna get you quality companies. And so that's more important to us than, and same thing that they said, we don't take garbage. As far as there's microphone companies reaching out to us all the time. It's like, look, we work with Shure, we work with Heil. We want to work with companies that we believe in the product because our reputation as influencers, that's what it is, right? We all influence each other. So if I said, oh yeah, use this toner microphone, and you're like, God, this thing's a piece of junk, you're never gonna listen to me again. So I think that's important.
I was just gonna piggyback on what you said about the thumbnail and the quality of the video. Part of my goal with making the shoppable videos, of course, is to get the affiliate commission, but the other part is that for a lot of the products in my niche on Amazon, most of them don't have videos. So I want brands to see the quality of videos that I can produce, not just for Amazon, but for any other need they may have.
Hey everybody, Dr. Edo. So, what kind of like format? I was invited into a podcast, and they multi-streamed it to Amazon Live, which surprised me a lot. So, is that a regular format you can do on Amazon Live? They did a portion of the podcast that they sold a bunch of stuff, but they did promote a little bit of merch from other places. So I don't know. I was kind of confused. I was surprised that it did go to Amazon Live. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, we multi-stream. We go live. When we go live, we'll go live to LinkedIn, YouTube, Amazon, Twitch, Twitter, but what we don't do, which is this, like you said, that's one where they're probably walking a fine line. But I think the other thing, I think everyone would agree, and Dan as well, is the Amazon influencer team is struggling to have the bandwidth to handle that. So some people, their videos get taken down, right? They'll be in the middle of the show, boom, because you're not supposed to drive people off the platform. You're not supposed to be giving them links to go buy somewhere else. Now you can, we have Amazon merch, so we can put our merch into that, but we never take people off the platform. And you can also mention your socials where they can follow you. But yeah, we're very cognizant of that and don't want to risk losing the ability to be on the platform, because one of the changes they made about a year or so ago is there is no mediation. If you get kicked off and you want to try to get back on, you got to lawyer up, and Amazon's got bigger pockets than all of us but Eddie, I think.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody,